Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Happy post-Christmas. We made it. We made it through the holiday, friends, and it is downhill from here through the new year. The week after Christmas is my favorite week of the entire year. As a teacher, I am on winter break, and once the hustle and bustle of the holiday is over, I finally get to relax into my winter break and really just recover and take some time for myself. I love to use this time to sleep, to catch up on my favorite shows and movies, to read some books. I'm trying to wrap up my reading for 2022. I love to go on walks during this time. However, the weather has not been cooperating. It has been pouring rain for over 24 hours where I live, but I am not complaining because I love the rain and it just gives me more of an excuse to be cozy at home, still enjoying the glow of my Christmas tree and all of my fun gifts from my loved ones, and just really loving this time of the year. So I hope you are as well. I'm not going to blabber much more because I'm here to film my end of the year declutter video. I have a whole box of items. Oh, I don't want to give it away. I have a whole box of items here that I'm going to go through with you. I just kind of scoured through my collection and saw if there's anything that stuck out to me that I knew I could be happy without in the new year. I think I could have decluttered more. I know I could have decluttered more, but I'm going to focus this next year, like I always do, on using the products in my collection, seeing if they still work in my inventory, and if not, removing them once I've gotten a chance to use them a little bit. But these items in this box, I knew for sure that they could go. I either have used them throughout the past year, or I just didn't find they were working for me and I knew I didn't have to try them any further. So that's what we're gonna go through now. If you like declutter videos, stay tuned because I have a lot of things to share with you, and some of them may be familiar if you've been watching me all year. This may be anticlimactic, but I just wanted to throw it in because I am getting rid of it after I film my finale. This is my Modern Renaissance palette. As many of you probably know, I've been panning this palette all year. I'll link my Pan That Palette playlist here for all of you, of course. And this one's gonna go. I'm not gonna show it to you now because my finale video is coming, but whatever's left inside here at the end of the year will be leaving my collection. So just wanted to include that as a little throwaway. I do have a few other eyeshadow palettes that I'm getting rid of, and I think that some of you will be happy. I've decided to finally declutter my Urban Decay Vice 4 palette, and I've brought this into my pan those eyeshadows several times in the past couple of years. I have pan on quite a few of those shades. I think I have pan in 3 of those shades now, and a good dip in that shade there, Crowbar, that was in my pan those eyeshadows. I was really clinging to this palette for a few of these more like jewel toned shades that I thought were really unique in my collection. But after thinking about it further and going through my eyeshadows in all my other palettes, I found dupes for most of these shadows that were even better quality and performed a lot better and were a lot newer. So this palette is definitely old. I think it's probably 7 years old. It's one of the first high-end palettes I ever had in my collection, so it has kind of a sentimental place in my heart. But I think the time has come. I'm finally ready to say goodbye to this palette, and I feel good about that. I had to really digest getting rid of this palette for a while, but we got there, and I'm happy to move it out of my collection and make room for newer and nicer shadows in my inventory. Another eyeshadow palette I got to work on this year in my pan those eyeshadows was this one from Winky Lux. This is their Kitten palette. I got this palette in a BoxyCharm, actually. I did not purchase it myself. I rolled in this shade 9 Lives, which I did in fact hit pan on. But as I had this palette out, I just realized that while I do like the color story, I have better shades of all of this in my collection elsewhere. I really liked this duochrome, but after trying it a few times, I realized it was pretty chalky and didn't perform as well as other things I own. So I decided that this one doesn't really have a place in my collection anymore and decided to get rid of it. Another one that was really hard for me to get rid of, but I think it's time, is this one from ColourPop. This is the Femme Rosa She palette, and I just love this packaging so much. I want to keep it just for the packaging, but I'm not going to. I rolled a shade in this year in my Pan Those Eyeshadows Dear and got a pan on it pretty easily. And there's nothing like terribly wrong with this palette. I just don't really love the shimmers in here, and I love pink eyeshadows, but these ones are all kind of similar. Like, look at these two. This one and this one. I just feel like the shades in here are really repetitive. It looks pretty different on the swatch, but on the eye, it looks almost identical. Like, we also have these two, this one and this one. I don't know. they're just not different enough for me, and I have better things in my collection. This shade is like more of a red, and this one, and that one. See, they're just different, but close enough where I'm not getting the diversity from this palette that I would like to see, and I have prettier pinks in my collection that I would rather reach for. And as pink as this palette looks at a glance, it's really not that pink. I mean, to me, it feels more like a rosy neutral palette. Other than, you know, this pinky matte, this, and this purple, these other shades can read pretty neutral on the eye. So for me, I just didn't think it was something I needed to carry around anymore. And as much as I liked having it around, after bringing it out and using it for a couple months, it just didn't really excite me anymore. So it's gonna go, and I think I could find a better home with one of my loved ones. Next, we have this palette from Beauty Bakery, and this is their Proof is in the Pudding eyeshadow palette. And there is nothing wrong with this palette. I don't even think I've ever swatched it because I've just wanted to keep it pristine. This is what this palette looks like. It's a really pretty neutral palette. And I got this from a friend who I believe got it in a FabFitFun box, and she gave it to me, but I obviously do not need another neutral palette in my collection, and I just couldn't find the heart to swatch this and use it when I thought it might find a better home with someone else. So I've had it in my drawer for about a year. I haven't found anyone yet who's interested in it, but I'm gonna get rid of it, maybe give it to a Goodwill, maybe send it to Project Beauty Share. I think they're pretty picky with what they select, but this is like the newest thing I have. But I'm gonna declutter it. I just never decided to bring this into my collection, and I don't need to have it around. There's things I really love and have chosen to have in my collection in my drawer. I might come to regret this, but I'm also getting rid of this Z palette. This is from Ofra. It's not a Z palette, it's a magnetic palette from Ofra. And I got this in a BoxyCharm with a few shades, and I just don't need it. I'm not a singles person. I'm not gonna buy any more singles. And I have a few pans in here. This is like an old lipstick. I should really just throw that away. And then I have 4 eyeshadows that are just redundant in my collection. I actually have this shade Cosmopolitan in my Makeup Geek Manny MUA palette. And these 3 are just chalky and no bueno, and I don't need them. So I'm getting rid of those singles and this palette, and I'm hoping that someone will get some use on that as well. If you watch my deck of panning video, then you may know this is a highlighter. I'm getting rid of this. This is Vintage by Jessica Liebeskin, and it's a highlighter duo. And I just found that after bringing it into my project, it was really chalky and not very blendable and doesn't perform the way that I would like a highlighter to perform. So I got rid of that one. It's just an older one in my collection, and highlighters have gotten better since I've had that. I also am getting rid of this blush. This is from Cover FX. This is their Sweet Mulberry shade, which is like a really deep plummy purple. And I've been wanting a plummy purple blush, but this is not the one. It's way too dark and deep for me. It looks really gray on my cheeks. I've tried using it as an eyeshadow, this one at least, and I mean, sure, it's pretty, but I have enough eyeshadows. I don't need to keep an entire blush just for that. So I think I have a friend who will appreciate this and get good use out of it. I feel sad because I spent quite a bit of money on this. I think about like $35 or $36, which is unfortunate, but you know, I don't want to keep it in my drawer just because I spent money on it. It's taking up space and distracting me from better, more beautiful for me blushes. So I'm gonna give that away to someone who will get more use on it. Another thing that I just brought into my collection is this cream bronzer from Makeup Revolution. This is in the shade Light, and I actually really like this cream bronzer, but it's not the right shade for me. It's too light. I kind of got duped by the reviews on the Ulta website because it said that the medium one was like way too dark, but I like a more pigmented bronzer. I should have purchased the medium. This bronzer blends beautifully. It's $8, so, and also smells really nice. Has like a tropical kind of island smell. But this one is just not the right shade. It really shows up on my skin, and I have to kind of pile it on, which looks a little bit heavy, and I don't want to do that. I'm gonna give this to a more fair skin friend. I hope that she can appreciate it and use it because I really like it, but it's just not the right shade for me. And I actually purchased the NARS Laguna bronzer instead, even though it was way more expensive. It was like quadruple the price, but it's really pretty. So, and it'll last me a long time. But this one is just not the right shade, not working for me, and it's gotta go. I'd rather have someone use it than just let it go bad in my drawer, you know? A couple other blushes I'm getting rid of. I should have mentioned these sooner. Getting rid of 4 blushes total. So I'm also getting rid of my powder blushes. I have 2. I have this one from Bare Minerals in the shade Thistle, and I've had this for probably a decade, so it should go anyways. And I'm also getting rid of this powder one from what's it called? Studio Makeup. It's like a peachy color. I got this in a BoxyCharm. I'm never gonna reach for a powder blush, ever. Never, ever am I gonna make that choice for myself. If I have the choice between pressed and loose blush, I'm gonna choose the pressed blush every time because this is just not practical in my makeup routine. So I finally bit the bullet and said, we can get rid of it. So those are going. I'm also getting rid of this one from Too Faced. This is one of their Love Flush blushes or something like that. Sweetheart Perfect Flush Blush. I don't know. This is the shade Candy Glow. And it's not that I don't like this blush. It's just like not very pigmented. It's just not the kind of blush that I like to wear. I really have to pile it on. It doesn't have much of an effect on the cheeks. And I'm like, I love blush. Like I want my blush to pop. I want you to see that my blushy cheeks from a mile away, and this one is not fitting the bill. So I've also had it for about 6 or 7 years. I keep holding on to it because it's just so cute and adorable, and I love having it in my drawer, but it doesn't need to take up space anymore, and it's kind of awkward shaped. So that one also is gonna go. I'm still kind of sad about it, but it's for the best. I'm getting rid of a ton of lip products, and this makes me feel really good. I threw in my Jeffree Star liquid lips that I have been kind of testing out throughout the year, just as kind of like an extra, just to show you. I have 3 Jeffree Star liquid lipsticks that I'm getting rid of. These are just dried out. I brought them into my deck of panning, or no, I brought them into my project pan and used them 10 times and verified that they are for sure dried out and ready to go. So I'm just including them in the declutter video for my own satisfaction. Oh, I forgot to include this Jeffree Star. This one's Anna Nicole. And then I also had Weirdo, their black shade, Androgyny, and this one is Celebrity Skin. So happy to be moving these out of my collection. I also have this bullet lipstick from Sephora. This is one of their samples. I think I got it in like a lip sample set, and it's a red color, but it's really kind of a pinky red, and I don't like those. It's supposed to be like a deep red, but when you put it on, if it's not thick enough, it looks like pink. But if you layer it, it gets messy and like clumpy. So it's just not my kind of lipstick, and I have more pigmented deep reds that I prefer. So I decided to just not force it and get rid of it. I was gonna try and pan it, but after thinking about it, I was like, I'm not gonna do that to myself. So we're getting rid of that one. It's a few years old also. I'm also getting rid of this Honest Beauty lip crayon. I got this in Influencer, and it's just messy. Like it also doesn't look good on the lips. It kind of like shows texture a lot, but like it looks really creamy and pretty in the swatch, but just like on the lips, it just shows every single line. It goes all over outside the lips. The shade's like a little too bright for me to wear on a regular basis. I would only be able to wear it during the summer months. And I don't want to keep something around that I can only wear a couple months out of the year. So that one's gonna go as well. Another bullet lipstick is from Lancome. This is like a hot pink shade, very glossy and balmy. And I'm getting rid of this because I don't like my statement colors like hot pinks to be glossy and balmy, to be this kind of finish. They don't last as well. They move around my lips. They end up on my teeth. I would prefer to use a matte or a liquid lip if I'm wearing a hot pink lip. So there's just really no point for me to keep this around. And I have several hot pink lip colors in my collection. So this is just one extra one that I know I'm not gonna reach for if I want a hot pink lip. So that one can go. It's also old. It doesn't smell bad or anything, but it does have a nice packaging, and I just wish it was a different shade. I've been unofficially working on these cream lipsticks from L'Oreal. I don't even remember what these are called. They're like the Infallible Matte Gloss or something like that. I don't remember. All of the writing has gone away. I just flipping loved this formula. This one's pretty empty. Look at that. You can see some windowing on there. So I have 3 of these shades and I love them all. This one was Bare Attraction. It's like a really like pinky nude. Love that one, especially in like the spring and summertime. This is Statement Nude. This is a more brownie nude. Love this in the fall and winter. And then this one is Nude Allude. So all the nudes I loved apparently. And this one's like a really pretty like, I don't know, corally pink nude, but it's so beautiful for like every day. If like you want like a nice color on your lip, but nothing too deep. It gives like a nice impact without like being too bold. I just loved that shade. And I'm really actually sad to say goodbye to these, but I promised in my last makeup inventory video that these would not make it into my 2023 inventory. And that's why I've been using them as much as possible over the past 12 months. I'm really kicking it into gear in these past 3 months. I've had them in my purse everywhere I go and reaching for them almost every day, one of them that is. And I'm kind of sad to say goodbye because they don't make this one anymore, and it's just such a good formula. If you know any formulas out there that are similar to this, like if you also enjoyed this and you found something that you like that kind of took its place, please let me know in the comments because I might be interested in picking some of those up if they're out there. But these are years old. They're at least 5 years old, and even though they're still performing, it doesn't mean I should be wearing them. So it's time to say goodbye, even though it's hard. I'm getting rid of these 2 holiday products from Makeup Revolution. These are from their Grinch collection, and I actually just got this in a set with the Cindy Lou Who headband. I'll get it for you. You have to see it. Yeah, so here it is. Here's the Cindy Lou Who headband, and you can understand why I had to buy this set. So I didn't care what was in the set. I just saw the headband and I said, that's coming home with me. I don't care if it's made for children. And I've been wearing it all winter long, all Christmas season long, all December. And I love it. I love it right now. I might wear it for the rest of the video. And so this came with it. It's a lip gloss. It's a very frosty baby pink lip gloss and a very frosty baby pink blush. It's a Max blush. It has a little paw print on there. Max from the Grinch. Oh, so cute. But, you know, obviously there is no place for this in my collection. I don't need this. I don't even want to open it. I want to give it to someone who's going to use it. So that is going away. Maybe like a little girl would enjoy it. I think I have a little girl in mind I could send it to. Some like play makeup for her. And a few more items just to wrap it up. I have this nude eye pencil from Rimmel that was brought into my project pan and instantly decided to declutter it because it does not transfer onto my waterline. I also have this nail polish from Sally Hansen in black that is just very dried out. I'm not even going to try to open it. I tried to wear this over the Halloween season and it was like, no, nope, it's got to go. And then last, I have a skincare product. This is from The Ordinary, and this is their AHA BHA peeling solution, and it's just getting old. I think I've had this for almost 2 years, and it has a 12-month shelf life, and because it's like got acids in there, those definitely expire. Also, I'm not in the position to be using this right now because of the Accutane treatment. It's very drying, and this is just too harsh on the skin. I think my skin would be too sensitive to even use this right now, so I can't even use it for the next like 4 months. I'm also just not really into this kind of product anymore. I find it to be a little too harsh on the skin and can be an irritant and make your skin inflame and get a little upset and break out. So for me, it's a no, and I'm going to declutter it. Okay, so those are all the items I am decluttering at the end of this year. I'm sure I could find more in my collection, but it'll happen organically throughout 2023. I'm excited to continue to shop my stash, see what's in there, fall in love with some things I may have forgotten about, or you know, come to find out these things aren't working for me anymore. And that will be a journey that you all can come along with me on in the coming years. So definitely subscribe to my channel if you aren't already so you don't miss out on any of my Project Pan videos, especially if you're into conscious makeup consumption type content, things like Project Pan, low buy content, use your own makeup collection type content, and empties videos where you actually get to see me using and emptying things in my collection, not just bringing in and always consuming more. I try to be a conscious consumer, and making these videos definitely helps me out. I hope you had a great 2022, that you're enjoying your holidays, and I cannot wait to see you all in the new year in my next video. Bye.